Hey, welcome to another Flights with Joel. This one I decided to go close to my home and go to where I originally trained in a 172, not a DA40 XLS. But hey, what the heck? This is the new DA40 XLS from Cow Simulation. Available through Orbix. And it is a beauty. It has too many features to list. I'm going to get into it as we go along. I'm going to do a walk around, although the features are not available yet for 2024 to do the full walk around. It doesn't have the chocks, etc., which is a nice feature. I was surprised I like that so much in 2024. But it's nice to have to kind of do things correctly, and if you forget them, you are messed up a bit. So you can't do much from out here. We're going to go inside. But first, we are going to just walk around and see what's going on. Look at this. Look at the detail here. You can see it even better once we get outside. There we go. Okay, now jump outside. There it is. And where is it? Where'd my plane go? I had to reposition the plane because Microsoft put it in here pointed the wrong way, which is kind of strange, but oh well. So when you're in this, first of all, don't step there. There's a step to get in. Don't step on the wing. And when you're in here, you can actually get a better look of the detail in this walk around mode. So let's go ahead and walk around. There are a lot of scratches and stuff on the wing. Might want to have a look at that. Take a little bit of a closer look. We're going to go down this ring first. Make sure there's no dents big enough to impede airflow or something like that. You can do it in third person too, but the problem with this is it's hard to control the camera. See what I mean? It's a little bit harder to control things this way, and you don't get to see it as closely. Everything looks good so far. As I say, I can't move anything from out here like we're starting to expect, but that is a feature that they should be adding. They're looking at adding that. And it may be by the time it's released, it may be out. This is a pre-released version, by the way. Oh, can I do this from out here? Let me see here. I can't do that from there, but you can open the doors. So it's almost a trade-off. Do you want doors that open and stay open, or do you want walk-around features that well, actually on this plane, you might need it every time you get in it. The legs look good, although they're off. The flap should be down right now for the walk-around. We're going to kind of skip through that part of the checklist as we just did it. Now, let's jump inside. Here we go, inside. This is what I wanted to show you, though. The sound also. Great sounds. Jump in the back. And this. If only there was a way to have both features, both the walk around and the doors open. Oh, it puts me in the same spot every time. There we go. Just recheck everything. I just love this. As far as I know, I do have real weather on. It's a bit nippy, so it might be a little persnickety to start. This is built to simulate the aircraft so closely that you can train with it as a student. And it's done so well that they actually include the real world checklist. There's a couple things to go over before we start doing this. And as I said, it doesn't currently have a walk around. Some of the standby instruments work a little differently if you have this in 2020 than they do in 2024. The FS20 and FS24 handle internal calculations differently and at different speeds, so it may change some behaviors in 2024. Engine handling, and as mentioned in the POH, there are random variances applied to the engine. This is to give each user a unique experience. Fuel flow per injection, plus or minus 5%, etc. There's a whole list of things. You'll see that once you grab the airplane and check it out. But one of the coolest things is for one, the click spot that open these, that's one thing. You have open and closing doors. Once you can reach back here and close that, there we go. Go back up here, and then you have a whole bevy of other things that we're about to get into. Let me just set up my checklist here. Here we go. So we're starting with the before start checklist, but even before we start with the before start checklist, we are going to look at some really cool features. So you got to turn the power on. Turn the power on first. Now I might have to hear some things. There we go. Just put my headphones on and let it come up. Let the G1000 come up. Hit enter on this one. Then we want to go to the engine over here, and there are all the engine parameters. We want to go to menu now, failures mode. I did not save the state, so it's still off. I hit enter. I can have normal failures. I can have high amount of failures. I can have chaos, complete chaos. For the purposes of this flight, I think I will have it off because I want to show the aircraft off a little bit. State saving is on, engine damage is on, realistic braking is on because I love the realistic braking. Engine starter with mixture is off. That means it's going to have a more realistic starting because I have to use the mixture to start. Panel shake is on. Reset damage, reset failures is obvious. To get out of this mode, we go back to here. Go back to this view. Actually, this view is good for start. Let's stay in that view and start the checklist. We'll turn this back off for the purposes of the checklist. For takeoff, the adjustable seat backs, if installed, must be fixed in the upright position. They're not adjustable seat backs, so we don't need to do that. The pilot must ensure that passenger seating in the front seat is instructed in the operation of the adjustable backrest. They are really into this backrest adjustment. It must be dangerous. Pre-flight inspection is complete. Rudder pedals adjust. Now, I'm actually adjusting mine because I just got a new set of rudder pedals that I'm trying out. You can see in the description what they are. I'll try and remember that. Passengers instructed adjust backrest, check safety harness. The other thing that they mention is that the safety harness has a click spot for the pilots, but I'm not seeing any change. So either that's not implemented in 2024 or it's not working on my machine. So there should be a difference in the visibility of the pilots inside the plane, outside the plane. That may only be for 2020 for now. I got nothing. I'm having the same results with pretty much every aircraft in 2024. Back to the checklist. Baggage check secure. The baggage will be back here. Beautifully detailed baggage compartment back here with the additional safety harnesses for the back. We don't seem to have any baggage today. Rear door closed and locked. Oh, I don't think it is. Yes, it is. We've got the rear door closed and locked. Door lock, if installed, unlock, key removed. Now this is the actual Diamond Aircraft DA40 flight manual. So I'm seeing how close we can get. Front canopy, position 1 or 2, cowling gap. So that doesn't matter. Parking brake set. The parking brake is set. In this aircraft, to set the parking brake, we'll take it off. To set it, you have to press the brakes and then set it. There's a couple other aircraft like this. If you have the DA40, a lot of this stuff is going to be familiar. Flight controls free of movement. I always do this. You always want to do this for your little sim cockpit also. I have a stick and pedals and a throttle. So everything seems to be working very good. Parking, trim wheel takeoff position. So I have had trouble with this in some aircraft where this doesn't change, but in this one, it works. In the takeoff, it works. Works just as it's supposed to. Throttle to idle. It's all the way back to idle. RPM lever, high RPM. That's here. Check the mixture control lever to lean. Mixture control to lean. Friction device, throttle quadrant adjust. We've assumed we've done that. Alternate air closed. Now the alternate air is there, so that's closed. That is closed. Alternate static valve closed if installed. Not 100% sure where that is. Avionics master switch off. It is. Essential bus switch off. It is. When the essential bus is switched on, the battery will not be charged unless the essential tie relay bypass is installed. Master battery switch on. If G1000 equipped, wait until power up is complete. Press enter on MFD to acknowledge. Hit that. And now you also have the benefit of the sounds of this aircraft. We're back on the screen that we turned it off on. Annunciator panel test, section 711. And, uh-oh, I didn't read that section. Not sure how you test the annunciator panel. And I don't think we have one in this. Fuel tank selector on full tank. So we have the fuel tank on the left, and we have fuel in both tanks. If we go back here and we zoom in again, we've got fuel all the way. We've got almost full tanks. Very close. Strobe light on. That is, I have to zoom in for all these because I'm kind of blind-ish and I don't have my head tracking on yet. I will turn that on. On fuel pump on, note the noise, functional check of pump, throttle 1 centimeter. So on fuel pump, there's the noise, throttle 1 centimeter forward from idle, measure from rear slot, mixture control, rich for 3 to 5 seconds, then lean. So you're basically priming rich, 4, 5, then lean, electric pump. Throttle 1 centimeter forward from idle. My TOS set test is complete. Before starting the engine, the pilot must ensure that the propeller area is clear. So we go out here and we say, go here, and we can open this little thing here and yell, clear prop, really loud, clear prop, but really loud. Okay, now we are ready to start. Before starting the engine and until the engine is shut down, the canopy must be closed and latched in position 1 or 2 cooling gap, and the door must be closed and latched. The use of external preheater and external power source, some things we don't need. Ignition start, mixture control. I'm reading this all because we got to do this kind of at the same time. You take the ignition to start, mixture control lever, rapidly move to rich, oil pressure green, within 15 seconds, electric fuel pump off. So that happens kind of quickly. And we'll see if it works this time. Sometimes it hasn't. Here's my ignition. Oh, it started right up. Oh, that's fantastic. Oil pressure green sector within 15 seconds. Oil pressure is good. Fantastic. And now electric fuel pump comes off. You can still hear it even with this on. Master alt switch comes on. It's master alternator. Ammeter check, fuel pressure check, 14 psi to 35 psi. That's another one where you can't really see it until you go in here. Where did I find my fuel? Oh, here it is. Fuel pressure right there. So lots of fuel pressure. Very good. That is the end of the pre-start checklist. Let's fly this thing. We've got some good wind down the runway, and we want to wait till the oil starts to warm up, which it barely is. It's barely getting there. Give it a little, as we taxi, it should get better. Let's turn on some additional lights. We want the taxi light and the position lights on. And then we want to make sure transponder is on alt. That actually should be on standby right now as we taxi. Standby. There we go. Let's try and do this in a semi-realistic manner. And then starting my beam eye tracker. In the background. Soon you'll see my head bopping around in a perfect and natural way. Open track. Makes the beam work. And start. There we go. Now we can really look around too. And I'm going to say, let's close this window. As far as detail goes, it's not up to sort of the 2024 standard. I've been really impressed with how this simulator looks, and this looks more like a 2020 aircraft. I mean, I think they were developing it for 2020 for a long time, and they're now putting it in both simulators. So it's not quite as sharp maybe, but who cares? With the functionality it has, it really doesn't matter. Before taxiing, avionics master switch on. There. Electric equipment on as required. Flaps up, takeoff. Indicator visual check. Set test function as required. Flight instruments and avionics. So we're going to set our flight instruments. First we're going to check the flaps. There we go. Flaps are working. I know actually from being here, there should be a sign at the end of the runway. I'm going to check it with my cheat key. No, that's wrong. Did you see how? Look how this moves. Look how the needle moves. See how it wobbles? That's how these instruments actually work. This needs to be set also. There, I believe that is set. We're going to check that when we get into flight. I'm pretty sure that is right. We got everything on, taxi lights on. Oh, and these work. See that? That works. This one works, but we can't see it because it's daytime. Very bright day today. This is, as far as I can tell from all my cross checks, this is real world weather, and it's really working quite well. So our instruments check, floodlight check, ammeter check for required increase RPM, check if required increase RPM. So basically, if there's a warning coming on here, the red warning, then you increase the RPM. It wants the pitot heat on, which is here. Right there. And it's just basically going to tell you to turn that on every time. Try and remember to turn it off. The fuel tank selector is right. On test function, must show rise, and if G1000 equipped, no yellow pitot fail. So there we go. Now off if not required. It kind of is required today. It's a pretty cool day. Strobe light, check on as required. Position lights, landing lights on as required. They are. When taxiing at close range to other aircraft, don't run into them. Check 600 to 800 RPM for idle. And this is the one I'm not used to. Oh, shoot. Dang it. My keyboard has a setting that it shouldn't have. Okay, I should be able to start this right back up. Oh, darn it. I'm going to have to... Oh, I see what I did. So whatever keyboard says, the keyboard changes every time I use something. So whatever it is, 9 is my key for my head tracking, which I should have killed. That shouldn't be right. What else do I have here? That's it. I need that one. Now that should work. Yeah. That works without killing my engine. It still did something else though. Oh, I know. The alternator is not, it's not enough RPM to power the alternator. So now we'll switch back to this. We're at 950 RPM, which is good for taxi. No annunciations, autopilot disconnect tone note. So we'll turn the autopilot on and off, making sure that works. trim, set to takeoff position manually, parking brake release, brakes test on moving, flight instrument avionics check for correct indications. So I believe this is, yep, we're set for takeoff. Release the parking brake. This should be moving now. Yeah, there we go. Test the brakes. And the cool thing is I also get to test my pedals, because if you, this is, see how I'm turning? Well, it has a realistic castering nose wheel. So I have to brake to get that castering nose wheel to turn. See, it's not, it doesn't actually turn with the rudder pedals like most small planes. This is very common in smaller aircraft like this. You don't actually have control of the nose wheel the way you expect to. This is more than, I usually jump in and take off. Start everything up and go, but because they've done such a good job with this, I want to go through the full checklist. We will even do, by the way, the wind is behind me, my stick should be forward. We'll even do a pre-flight checklist. And we do the pre-flight just here. This has a nice spot to pull off and do your pre-flight. And this is where the castering nose wheel gets really difficult. I always had trouble with this when I was doing my training. It's kind of a pain in the butt. You don't want to give it too much power and launch yourself into space. And there we go. That's a good spot right there. And we'll turn that off again. Before takeoff checklist. Here we go. Sorry, I was just scrolling down. That may all be edited. For takeoff, adjust the backrest if installed. Position airplane into the wing if possible. Parking brake set. Parking brake is set. I always just use the brakes. Safety harness, rear door, front canopy. We know that's good. Door warning light out. Fuel tank selector to fullest tank. Got it. Engine instruments in the green. Instruments are in the green. All green, green, green. Circuit breakers pressed in. Now this is very important on this aircraft. If you have set your failures, any one of these can be popped out. So you're going to need to check these and make sure. They will show up here. So it shouldn't be too big of a problem. Fuel pressure indicator of 14 to 35 psi. We're good. Electrical fuel pump on. Mixture control lever rich below 5,000 feet. It is. We've got full rich. Flaps check takeoff. So flaps, that's first position. Here we're in takeoff. Trim to takeoff it is. Flight controls, free movement, correct sense. So we want to make sure that when you had it in the shop, this one will never be this way, that someone didn't cross the controls up. So we got to make sure that our controls are doing what they're supposed to do. You can't even see, I don't even think you could see the tail in this. So it's pretty hard to check the back of the rudder. Pretty hard to check. Throttle 2,000 RPM. RPM lever, pull back until a drop of 250 to 500 RPM is reached. High RPM, cycle it 3 times. So we want to go to 2,000 RPM. Which isn't a lot, just right there. And then we want to cycle the prop. Oh, that was more than 200. Just a 200. So just bring this back. Well, you do have to bring it way back there. Look at the dash shake. There we go, and one more time. And there it is. Magneto checked. Left, both. Right, both. Max RPM drop 175 RPM. The max difference between the two, 50 RPM. So this always makes me nervous because in the sims it's hard. Sometimes you end up shutting it off. So 1. Back up, that's perfect. And see, it goes to start, which you wouldn't. Perfect. I mean, it's a fairly new aircraft. It goes automatically to start. You don't want to run the starter in a running aircraft. It's really bad. Circuit breakers check in. Voltmeter check in green range. It's right there. Believe we're good. Throttle to idle. Want to make sure that your throttle will idle. Flight plan entered. Altimeter set. And we want to bring it back up. Radio set and check. Transponder code set. Parking release. Check. Alternate air closed. Landing light on. Pitot heat on as required. Okay, we're going to go taxi light off. Landing light on. The transponder code is correct, and it's on VFR. And now we want it to alt. And we can go back. And now we take the runway. We would be doing, this is a uncontrolled airport, so we would just be doing radio calls for an uncontrolled airport. We already would have said the taxi calls. I'm not doing the calls today because there's nobody to hear them. Oh, wait. I need to release my parking brake. There we go. Now I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go do... I'm going to go do a little practice. We're going to normal takeoff. Then we're going to do climb to 3,000 feet. Going to get over a practice area. We're going to do a couple of stalls. Maybe some other stuff. Maybe something weird. Then we're going to come on back. Here we go. So where is my call sign? November 3593 is a Diamond DA40. We're going to be taking off runway 34 Cresswell. Something like that. It's been a while. One day I'll get back on the radio stuff. I do these streams so much that radio just seems to get in the way with the type of group flights and streaming I do. That's why I don't do radio calls. And it's one of the fun things about the sim for me. Now, if you like radio calls, there are numerous places to get realistic radio controls. Okay, one last check. We know our fuel's good, mixture is full, RPM is full, we are straight, pedals are straight, and we're ready to go. Looking for 59. I actually was taught to bring the yoke back a little bit, or the stick in this case, so that you get the pressure off that front wheel, and it's just going to fly on its own. There we go. The flap's coming up, and it's about 74 for climb, which is very slow compared to what I'm used to. 74. We're going to go right out there. That is not the normal practice area I would use, but it's closer to the airport. It's just quicker. I'm flying all over the place. Those towers, I'm so glad to see those. I flew by here the other day and I didn't see those towers. Those 3 towers are what you use to mark your entry to the pattern. So that's kind of where you go to get lined up to enter downwind 3-4 left. And I'm glad that they are here. This time I looked, they were not. So I kind of noticed the gauges because they work better than most simulator aircraft. We are supposed to be at maximum 23, so we're going to pull the prop back. I mean 24. There we go. Pull it back in the yellow at least. Keep climbing. This takes a minute. What a day to be out here practicing. I do have my... I do have traffic on. I'm surprised there's nobody out here, but I don't think they have a lot of GA planes in the sim. At least I think I have my stuff on. I may not. I should look on my app. I bet there's a bunch of planes flying around out here. It's cold though. We might not like going out in the cold. I'm gonna get 3,000. I'm gonna do this proper, like gonna get 3,000 before I do all these things. It's loud out here, that's for sure. Great sounds. Oh, it almost looks like frost. Oh no, that's just glitches. That's just glitches. I do not have the Sim Update 1 in yet. That's supposed to fix a lot of things. Very curious to see how that is. The autopilot works tremendously, if anyone's wondering about that. So far, the autopilot has worked as it should. It's simply a G1000 autopilot, nothing special. Let's see if we can come in right at 3,000. We will pull the prop back, pull this back to 19. The instructions I got told me 1900 RPM. That seems really slow. Oh, but that's for the maneuvers. First of all, we will do normal cruise, a little faster than this. And we're just gonna do some turns, just some basic turns. Let's get it trimmed out. And the feel of this aircraft, it is just fantastic. First we'll do a 180-degree clearing turn for our maneuvers. Everything looks good. Normal turn. We're actually going to want to lose a little. We're fine. We might lose a little altitude. It would be better. There we go. Not too much. Keep that horizon level. Turn right around. And what's great about here is you have all these straight roads. you can use the roads for these kind of maneuvers. So that was our clearing turn, and now we will do a 45-degree turn. And we have used these many times in our group flights to clear mountains. So if you get in a tight spot, that's basically what this is for. We just went to the right. Let's go to the left, 45 degrees. Here. A little more, a little more. There we are. Oh, yeah, we're climbing. Don't climb in your turn. There we go. And now we're descending. See how fast that gets you around? Now we will do slow flight. Pull the engine way back. To make some turns. There we go. And in flap range, we put the first degree of flaps in. We're trying to keep the same altitude. We're a little low. Trying to trim it out for slow flight. And this next degree of flaps, and that is about right. 64. We'll want to be right around 64. And we gained altitude, so I'm pulling back too much. My trim is better than I think. Don't need that much power. Just right in there. And now watch how easy it is to turn. You barely turn. This is also, you can also practice turns around a point in slow flight. I didn't pick a point, so that's wrong. You should have something at the end of your wing there and try and keep the same distance from your wing just out here. But see how little it takes to turn it? Just hardly anything. And you want to watch your speed. Do not stall now. Then we'll bring it out of slow flight. Oh, you know what? I need to trim my mixture. I could hear that the engine was struggling, and it's because my mixture. Now bring the flaps in slowly, but I brought them in too fast. My mixture was full forward. I could actually hear the engine getting having a bit of a struggle. And now we'll turn back around from these mountains. Then we'll do a stall out here. We'll do a clean stall, and then we'll do a dirty stall, full flaps. Just practicing for landing, basically. You want to know where your stall is so that when you go to land, you don't get too slow. Really don't want to get too slow in landing configuration. I'm already slow. So that's good. Now we'll pull it back again. keep turning, keep turning. Throttle back. And just bring up. Let's get it straight first. There we go. Now, bring up the nose. They said 20 degrees. That seems a little steep. We'll just hold it there. Okay, get this. Stick should come all the way back. There it is. Stick's all the way back. That is a full stall. And all you do in this to get out of it is just release the stick. Put the power back in, and you are out of your stall. And I was bringing the flaps in, but we have the flaps are in. Flaps are in. Okay. And we're a little bit. Now we've gained a bunch of altitude. So we'll watch that altitude. I'm going to do the next stall where you shouldn't do it. Bring the power back again. Do a dirty stall. Flaps in. Flaps are all the way in. Now it should stall slower. And there's the stall already. And let's do the full thing. Let's see what happens if I just keep the stall in. Will it flat spin on me? What's it going to do? It's going to just come out of the stall. My stick is full back. It's all the way back, and it is losing altitude, but it's just it's not going into a spin. It's not doing anything crazy because it's a very stable aircraft. Release the stick. Bring that back in. Flaps coming in. Turn back around. Full power. Prop all the way in. I've never done so much indoor work. I keep forgetting to come out here. Let's come out here. There we go. Start my flight recording software. I don't know if this will break. This might break the plane, but I'm going to try it anyway. Okay, first things first, we're going to do a barrel roll, or not even a barrel roll, just a standard aileron roll. Here we go. Using rudder, it's very slow. Ah, come back. Oh, it's stalling. Pull up. Okay, relax, everything. I had to relax the stick. It stalled there. I did this. Yeah, I'm pulling up. I'm doing it. Now, the cool thing is, if you don't want the TAWs when you're practicing maneuvers like that, bring the power back. You can go over here and pull that. TAWs not available. Okay, now I won't hear all that stuff, which is a nice feature. Now I will not get the sync rate and the someone yelling at me just because I'm having a little fun. Just because I'm having a little bit of fun. And let me see how the flight recorder worked. Let's just see how that worked. Going back over this big open field, we're over 3,000 feet. We'll try it the other way. Last time I did this, I did a perfectly good roll. By the way, these are non-approved. I hope you know, these are non-approved procedures in this aircraft. Got way beyond my airport. There we go. In other words, don't try this at home. And now we have plenty of height, so that's good. Let's try the other way. Pull the nose up a little bit this time. Roll. No, it's not doing it. What is wrong with this thing? It will not go over all the way. Ah! Uh-oh. No, that did some weird stuff. Interesting. Oh, and I'm way over speed. I may have flown the wings right off this. I may have flown the wings right off it. Okay, let's try a normal landing. We're almost at the right height. Bring the power back. Bring the mixture back in. Landing light is still on. Our airport is just up ahead. But I need to lose about 1,000 feet. So we'll slow it down. Slow it down. Not sure why the... Oh, it's carbureted, so it didn't like those maneuvers at all. Didn't like them at all. And at this point, we want to get it below 80, really. I don't know if you can see the airport yet. Coming right at it. First degree of flaps coming in. We have brakes. You test the brakes here. Mixture is good. Fuel is on. Ignition is on. Alternator is on. Our lights are good. Just on a modified base. And I'm going to bring a little power back in. Put the prop full forward. Now I'm getting nervous about nothing. We want about 500 foot per minute right now. Right now. So we will trim the power for 500 feet per minute. Then we'll bring the flaps in just a moment. Still not descending fast enough. Descend. There we go. There we go. Final flaps. Little power. I want to keep it 10 degrees above stall. 10 knots above stall. Look at the airspeed indicator, how it's bouncing around. Now the altimeter should be doing that too, but the airspeed indicator, the backup instrument, is doing exactly like it would. Acting very good. Oh, I'm getting a stall horn, a little more power. And I don't need to be on the numbers here. Plenty of runway, plenty of runway. Wind is doing more than I thought. Now, if I stress the brakes out, which I can do because it's a flight simulator aircraft, then I can make that easily make that first turn in. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Don't worry about anything yet. Don't worry about your flaps. Don't worry about your transponder. Don't worry about your radios yet. Your radio should have been set on the right frequency already. But first, get off the runway, as you are on an active runway. First, get off the runway. Bring it in here, then flaps up. Oh, it doesn't want to idle that slow. That is what that warning was. And then this goes back on, transponder goes back on standby. There we go. I think we can get our parking back. Ooh, I don't know. Look at all these jets here. That's just hilarious. There's a bunch of jets at my airport. Yeah. This was done very nicely, freeware in 2020. In X-Plane, not X-Plane. Microsoft Simulator X and P3D. Orbix actually had 77S as an airport. I guess it was just too much to update it for 2020. I'm going to hit this plane because it's parked in... Oh boy, I just skirted underneath it. And they did not save my parking. think somebody parked in my spot. Look at what parked in my spot. You guys. You dorks. Alright, well, let's park over here somewhere. There we go. Did you hear that? Listen to that. Ah, it's great. It is great. Just a few things to be added would make it absolute perfection. Not much. We're going to shut it off without a checklist. Watch this. First of all, bring the mixture back. Bring the RPM back up again. The prop is full forward. RPM up. And then slowly bring mixture back. So we clear out any carbon in there. Sit there a minute. There we go. It's a cold day. I'll leave the canopy on. These can be shut off. Right there. Boy, that fuel pump is awesome sound. Strobe off. Position light off. Taxi light's already off. These are off. The avionics master can be shut off. And alternator, battery. There we are. Now let's pop out of here. We have no passengers, so no need to open the back door, really. But there we go. All done. All said and done. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. If you made it this far, you really should, you know, subscribe and stuff. I mean, come on. Oh, I'm in a building here. See you next time.